Hello, everyone. Wow, that was so much fun last night that I decided to do it again. Let's try live and see who shows up. You never know. It's kind of fun. I've been thinking about this today. I've worked actually until now. It's actually 4 a.m. in the morning here. So my boss called me in early saying, can you make it a little earlier? And so I just got finished in the bathroom and got ready at 4. So I've been working out of the house and I got out around 4:30, but I've been going from 4:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. And it was a really great night. Had a good time. I helped work two parties for the family that I work for. They have a dance studio, and they had a jazz concert with a group from a jazz group actually from New York this time, which was really neat. Some famous people. It's terrible. I like jazz. I'm just terrible with knowing groups and that sort of thing, but I do like jazz. Got to help just a little bit there, and then I helped with a private party. So that was really great. Had a good time. And um, on my way to work and back again, I listen to audios and pray, take that time. It's about a 23-minute drive, and so I have some time to just sit and consider things. It's my sacred time. I love being there. My cat is trying to open the door. He'll get it open too. It sounds terrible, but he'll get it open. Both the cats are in now. I tried to keep the door closed because it keeps it warmer, but they're not having it. Crazy critters. Oh, they'll be up here before you know it. So during that time, actually, yesterday, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, since it's now yesterday for me, when I was listening to a videotape series, or sorry, an audio tape series from a man named Arthur Burke that has a ministry, and I learned a lot of things from a lot of different people. I've learned from many different people, and I'm always expanding where I learn from. I find that I learn best by just hearing ideas, and I'll hear them from many, many different places and many different sources to consider. And then I just sort of pray on it and think on it and, pull it together. One thing that he said, he was talking about how one thing Satan loves, the demonic realm loves, is when we get in a state of futility. And I thought that was like, yes, I didn't think of using that word, but yes, that's it, futility. And so I wanted to talk about the futileness, the futility of futileness in your walk on the narrow path. So this is an episode for those that may come to this party late or maybe here for the first time. This is On the Narrow Path with Katrina McHyde on Tim McHyde's channel. And you can reach us at escapeallthesethings.com, or you can leave a message or comment here. We'd love to hear from you. But futility is the idea of, like, you just kind of give up. It's kind of hopelessness. And many times I've found that, well, actually for me, I've lived in futility before, believing that I can't change anything. Like, in our walk, we're told that walking with Father, that He'll give us, He'll equip us unto every good work, that He will give us what we need, whatever strength or whatever tools we need in order to do what He's called us to do. And many times, though, we put ourselves outside that box, thinking that it's more important to say how much we can't do and then get scared about doing things instead of showing up. And we think it's futile to even do it instead of just show up and see what happens. And so I think it's really important to consider that maybe the things that we're called to do that are way above us, uh, like for instance, Moses felt like it was way above him to bring millions of people out of Egypt into the wilderness. He thought it was pretty futile, and he said, "No, thank you." And Father said, "You're going to do it." But many times we may not. We have a different calling or whatever's going on, but we still say the same things to things. Um, you know, I think that all of us face things that we feel that we're incompetent in, or that we can't do, or we don't have the strength or the know-how or the power. But I think it's important to do those type of activities, because if you show up, I tell people many times that really the whole answer to doing things for Father is just to show up. Like, there isn't anymore. It's just showing up. And the way that we show up is just say, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm willing to sit back and walk it out and see what happens, and be a part of whatever comes to mind. And when we leave that space of instead of just saying it's futile or we're not enough and looking at ourselves, deciding to look at Father being enough with us to be able to work out the situation. And if we get stuck, doesn't matter. We learn on the job. I think that's the most uncomfortable for many people, is we don't like being bad at things. And I think that many people put other people down for being bad at them, or trying to do something that they're not good at, or saying, how are you qualified? And you're not qualified when you show up. So all of those things can be very scary, to do things and just show up and do things that you've never done before, or know that you have done them before, but there's always twists and turns to it. So instead of looking at it as as, as something to not do and try to play it safe and try to be a perfectionist, which works either way. A perfectionist can try to, will always be in a place where it's never perfect enough. So it's futile, in the sense that it will never be perfect enough. So that's a form of futility. Or a perfectionist will not do anything at all and totally give up, and just think that it's not worth the time or effort to do it, because you don't think that you'll succeed at whatever you're doing or make a big enough difference. Both of those are actually the opposite extremes of having a perfectionism type mindset. And so it's about your perfection and you being perfect enough, instead about Father being perfect and being with you and helping as you walk on the narrow path, as you do what you're terrible at doing, teaching you and guiding you in development and understanding, and being really bad at it. It's like when you first learn how to draw your letters, A, B, C's, or you learn how to count, you're terrible at it. you know but with time we get better and better at things. So it's a matter of just practicing and being willing to show up, right? Which of course we screamed going to school, some of us, like we didn't want to go to school and really learn. We were scared at first, and we might have stayed that way all 13 years of our schooling, I don't know. But the point is this is a classroom. This whole life is a classroom. You have been learning from day one. I mean, as soon as you were born, you have been learning, your muscles have been learning new activities all the time. Remember, well, you wouldn't remember, but if you look at a baby, you'll see that they can't control any of their muscles, or understand that they're controlling them. Their hands go everywhere and their legs go everywhere, and they just know that they're uncomfortable when they're uncomfortable, and hungry when they're hungry, and they don't have any control over much, right? And it takes a long time to learn how to talk, learn how to walk, learn how to go to the bathroom in the toilet instead of in your diaper, and learn how to just grow up. And so this life is all about doing that. We learn less well when we think it's futile to learn stuff, or that we are futile, like we're hopeless. You know, futility has the idea of hopelessness. So when we look at ourselves as hopeless, alone, then we are not seeing that with God, there is hope in everybody and everything. You don't fall outside of those lines. We like to think that, well, we're special, we're too broken to be good or usable or whatever. That's such a lie from Satan. That is truly a futile thought. That is the futility of the word futile in the walk as a believer. So these are just some things that I'm considering, and I'm really thankful that I've learned. That's, you know, that Father has taught me so many different tools to get out of depression, and futility is part of the depression. I had both extremes of being a perfectionist and working really hard at trying to make it perfect, but it not ever being good enough, and also on the inside, um, you know, I felt like what I was doing wasn't going to, mm, it would make a difference, but it wouldn't make a big enough difference. So I kind of had both sides working with that, and believing that I was just responsible. I kind of, oh, I turned off my emotions. You know, I just became like my one of my well, my hero growing up was Spock. Like, not have any logic units, nothing but logic going. I just kind of shut down my emotions and just did what was in front of me to try to work things out and try to do them well enough. And I thought that emotions were futile because they got in the way. They were too slow to help me to think well, to be able to take care of the activities or the things that were put in front of me to take care of. And so I had a lot of healing to do and growth, and I learned emotional things later in the game. I had arrested emotional growth, is what I would call it. But you know, we all learn things little at a time, and even if we're behind on things, it's not futile to sooner or later catch up and work on those areas. And yeah, so whatever you're called to do, if you're not good at it, if you're terrible at it, it's not futile to practice. And if you are good at it, um, then I think that it's really important to maybe say that, well, Father's a great teacher, and I'm glad that I can be good at things, because Father didn't make you to be terrible in everything. And to look at it that way, I think, is not looking at the way that Father sees it, which I think is dangerous, to not see as Father sees, as I did actually last night or the night before, right? A vlog on that, uh, the live vlog on that. So I think that it's important to balance out our perceptions of ourselves, and to not, um, you know, always be in, like Ecclesiastes, although part of it's true, vanity of vanities, all is vanity, and get to a place where you feel you don't get out of that some of the deeper meanings that, you know, that of the end. If you read the end of what the whole meaning of things are, according to the one who wrote Ecclesiastes, yeah, Ecclesiastes, or no, Lamentations, excuse me. Lamentations. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. It's futile. But life is not futile. You just, sometimes things don't function for quite a while. And, you know, if you are not making a ton of mistakes and you are deciding not to do things because you're afraid you're not going to succeed at them or you're not going to be beautiful at it or that it's not your gift, uh, that's going to keep you from just arrested growth because it's just about showing up, doing it anyway, especially things you're bad at, do them. They have the best opportunity to um, help you develop things that you need that will help you with other parts of your life. You know, we're always telling kids, you know, school is, when we heard this growing up as well, school is really important because you will, you'll learn things there that will help you in life, like at your job and in life in general. And so it's important. And so, um, when we get older, we look back on it, and we say, yeah, that was good advice. Well, I'm saying that's good advice all the time. So that's just something to think about. I hope this one blesses you too. I'm getting ready to just go to bed now. I'm getting tired, as you can imagine, but it's been fun doing this, and I just want to bless all of you, Father, just everyone that's here, all those things that are trying to get us down and think that things are futile and get us to a place where we won't work or do anything or feel good enough to do something. Father, I just come against that and ask you to help expose that and help us to come up with habits of thinking, to think like you think about situations, and that you would strengthen us in the things that we do terrible at, and you would help us to be consistent and persistent at doing things that we're not necessarily good at, but that you would show up and help us to get better at those things if you're calling us to do them, and for us to know what you're calling us to do, because sometimes you're not wanting us to work in certain ways. So give us discernment on how we should spend our time, Father, so that we are learning the right things at the right time. So just bless everyone watching this, and I praise you in Yeshua's name. So come and visit us. Leave comments. I love your comments. I read your comments from yesterday, and they were really beautiful. So thank you for sending those comments, and I look forward to the comments I get here. Or you can send an email, come to escapeallthesethings.com and send us an email. There's a bunch of free stuff there that you can look at with, you know, newsletters and articles and free stuff there that to encourage you. And if you'd like to be a part of the support team, that helps to support us so that that way we can create new content and share some of it for free like this, then you're welcome to join us in that. So blessings to you all. Good night, good day, good morning.